Hey, Banjo Hangout folks. This is John here. Hey. I'm recording on my iPad because this is the only way I can figure out how to do this right now. I don't have anybody to help me with camera work, so I'm doing my own footage here. We've got a banjo here. I thought I'd do a little setup tip of the week, of the month, of the quarter. I'm not sure what to call these things yet. But what we're going to do here in this video is I'm going to show you quickly how to take a banjo head off. This is a 1935 TB1 that I'm working on in shop here. I'm going to have to check the tone ring fit, so I'm going to have to take the head off. I've already removed the thumb screws out of the resonator, and so the purpose of these videos obviously is show you some tips and tricks that I've learned through the years and things I've figured out on my own, and some things that I've learned from other luthiers that were kind of my mentors. So what we're going to do is kind of take this head off. So like I said, the resonator screws are out. These banjos have 3 resonator screws. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the resonator and get it out of the camera shot here. And I cannot see the screen on this iPad, so I hope everything's still in focus here. But so we have the banjo laying there, and what I'm going to do is take some blue multi-surface tape. You can use regular masking tape if you want. This is a trick I've always done it for years. Take a piece of this blue tape and put it across your tailpiece, firmly across the front leading edge of the tailpiece. And this will work on Ottinger tailpiece, it'll work on a Nashville tailpiece, work on a Presto, it'll work on any clamshell, any style tailpiece. And the purpose of this is so that you can keep the strings intact on the tailpiece. So what I'm going to do here is loosen the hanger bolt. And again, I cannot see the screen here, so I hope all of this is staying in the camera. I'll try not to move the banjo any more than I have to. So now I've already loosened the strings. You don't have to remove the strings because that's the purpose of this trick. Is now, as you can see in the camera shot, I have the strings taped to the tailpiece. So I'm going to fold the pieces of tape under, and voila, your strings are now connected securely to the tailpiece. Why would I want to do that? Well, when you work on as many banjos as I do, changing, putting strings on tailpieces, removing tailpieces, putting strings back on tailpieces gets to be a pain. So what we can do now is just basically lay the tailpiece over here on the bench. And if you like, you can also put a piece of tape up here, like the 1st or 2nd fret on the fingerboard if you like, to keep the strings centered up here in the notch, but I usually don't do that because that's not a problem. So now we have the banjo ready for head removal, and I'll obviously have also removed the armrest, which is, you know, pretty self-explanatory. You don't need any help with that. But what I've done is, before I started the video, I've already gone around and loosened all these. But at some point, you get to the tedious portion of this job, and I've got towels down to protect this banjo from the carpet on the workbench. You'll get to the point where the wrench has loosened the nuts sufficiently so that they're really loose, but yet the hooks can't be removed, because we have to take the hooks out of the tension hoop. They have to be completely off of the notches, out of the notches, before we can take the head off. And so you get to this tedious part where, like this, the nuts are so loose that the wrench is really not effective. But you don't want to take your hand and go around one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. It takes a long time, and then you have to remove each one. Here's a trick that I kind of worked on myself, that I just kind of found by accident. If you have sensitive skin, tender skin, you might not want to try this, but what I'll do is I take my hand and I basically just use my skin. Now, of course, you have to get the hooks to the point where they'll actually turn real freely. But you can actually take your fingers, and occasionally get one that's a little tight. And I don't know if you can see in the video or not, but these things are just popping right off. So this is a speedy way, or you could sit there and turn each one, which I don't want to do. So having done that, then you'll have to, you know, manipulate each one, and then we make sure each hook is out of the groove, and then we just pull each hook through the flange. This will also work with a tube and plate flange, obviously, but it's easier on a one-piece flange. A two-piece flange, the tolerances are a little tighter right here, so you might have a little more problem with your doing that with your finger. But now we have all the hooks off of the banjo. So I'm going to turn it over. Hopefully I'm still in the camera shot there. And then we're just going to remove the head, remove the tension hook. And then the reverse process of this would be when you put the new head on or you're putting the banjo back together, you put each hook back in the notch, get everything lined up, and then finger tighten everything where they won't fall out of the notches in the tension hook. Then take your finger and go the opposite way a few times. Just run your hand around like this, and you'll actually speed tighten the nuts enough so that you won't have to waste a lot of time turning in each one individually. So now there's your tip of the week. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you don't cut your fingers up. We'll see you next time.